Over the past 4 years, All Elite Wrestling has had some tremendous growth, both with Dynamite, Rampage, and the amount of stars they are able to build on their TV shows, as well as the stars they're able to sign to the promotion, be it a Bryan Danielson, a Jon Moxley, or a Chris Jericho way at the beginning. Now this year, it seems, if I'm correct, this year AEW's media rights TV deal comes up. So they do have to go back into negotiations with Warner Brothers Discovery to try and renew that upcoming deal. I don't think that's going to be an issue. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Tony Khan and AEW have been great partners to TNT and TBS up until this point. I think they've managed to do something that TNA in the past wasn't able to do, which is form a pretty great relationship with their TV channel, with their TV partner. Whereas back in the day, TNA Wrestling and Spike TV, sure, they had a good enough relationship to keep the deal going for close to 10 years. TNA never really fully committed to Spike TV being a full-on business partner in the promotion, not as much as AEW has ever since it started. Pretty much they named their mid-card championship at the time, their mid-card title, the TNT championship, after one of their channels. So AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery at this point have gone hand in hand. Now, over the past few weeks, Tony Khan, president, owner, booker, he does so many things for AEW. He discussed the possibility of AEW creating its own streaming service. And to be honest, it's something that is extremely overdue for the promotion. I think I've been talking about this for the past 2 years in terms of AEW. Because WWE has its own streaming service, or now it's on Peacock, actually. Impact Wrestling has its own streaming service. They've managed to work it out with Access TV, because they're a part of Anthem, so they got that working relationship going. But AEW now has 4 years, tons of hours, tons of pay-per-views out there to be able to put on a streaming service for all of their fans to enjoy on demand, and it's not a possibility right now. On top of that, they also bought out Ring of Honor Wrestling, and Ring of Honor Wrestling has over 20 plus years of footage that they can use and they can utilize to put on that streaming service to lure in some more fans. AEW, WWE, Ring of Honor fans, whatever. Wrestling fans, the IWC in general, would flock to that AEW streaming service. So on that note alone, Tony Khan would be making some big money right there, because that's basically the money they're already making every time they go on pay-per-view. Now, with that said, AEW currently has 4 pay-per-views per year. And even though that's worked over the past 4 years, eventually AEW has to grow. And I know a lot of fans in the IWC are more about this romantic style of just having 4 pay-per-views for big events a year, because that's reminiscent of the old days, the golden days of the 1980s with WWF and the NWA back then. But in today's world, in today's media world, you need content. You need premium content a lot more to promote your business, to promote your promotion in this case. And at least in my view, the way to build stars is to tell fans, inform fans that they've been a part of multiple pay-per-view main events. And it's nothing against Rampage or Dynamite. They're great shows that they always are able to put together each and every single time. But there's something different about being in the main event of a pay-per-view. So without further ado, I'm not removing the 4 pay-per-views they have currently on the calendar. I'm just adding 2 more. And a pay-per-view every 2 months also helps the the storytelling aspect of AEW's business. Because it's safe to say that right now AEW is kind of on the down low because it's WrestleMania season. Even though we've got Revolution coming up on March 5th, We got that big 60-minute Iron Man match between Bryan Danielson and MJF. For the past month and a half, AEW has been on a light cook in the microwave. They've really been second fiddle to WWE's road to WrestleMania. Rightfully so, we're talking about WrestleMania, but I think 2 pay-per-views or 2 months between pay-per-views is the right amount right now for AEW, and it also helps with them trying to renew their TV deal and trying to bring out a streaming service. So without further ado, I'm going to start it off with January. And obviously January is going to be, at least at my point, is New Year's Smash. Because, I don't know. You can't do Royal Rampage, obviously. I think that's going to stay as a Rampage episode. And besides, it's a clear ripoff of WWE's Royal Rumble. So, you can't really do that. But in January, you got New Year's Smash. You're able to make whoever the world's champion is at the end of Full Gear get a successful title defense or try to elevate his position. For example, this year they could have had Ricky Starks in the main event of New Year's Smash on pay-per-view against MJF for the world title. That would have been a much bigger deal, a much bigger headline than them just main eventing a random Dynamite. Which I get it, it's called Winter is Coming, but still. I mean, you could have done Winter is Coming and then you could have had a big blow-off match at the pay-per-view in New Year's Smash. But, that's just my opinion. You also have March. You keep Revolution in March. I think it's a very good spot for it. It's right between WrestleMania and the Royal Rumble. It's a good palate cleanser for wrestling fans in between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania that isn't WWE based. So I'd keep that there. In May, you got Double or Nothing. You keep that in Vegas. The name itself fits Vegas as well. The city, everything has been working off pretty perfectly for AEW right there. Then we have our July pay-per-view. Now, July is the middle of the summer. There's not that much business. We're heading into SummerSlam for WWE. So I considered a few options to place in this scenario. And to be honest, at number 4, and I'm doing this from number 4 to number 1, just based off the events that they've already had on Dynamite at this point. I'm not making up a new name for any of these events. Maybe they might. I don't know. You got Fyter Fest at number 4. Could work. Not my favorite name for a pay-per-view event. Then we got Beach Break. And like I said, it's the middle of the summer, so Beach Break works. Number 2, we got Road Rager. And the reason it's called Road Rager is because it has the word road in it, and it's right in between Double or Nothing and All Out. Yeah, All Out. So it's not a big enough pay-per-view to warrant people thinking it's a big pay-per-view. So just put it right there in between. Space it out. Double or Nothing is a big pay-per-view. All Out is a big pay-per-view. There you go. And finally, the name that I settled upon is Blood and Guts, because that kind of match, that War Games style kind of match that they have, is definitely pay-per-view worthy, whether it be, doesn't matter who's in the feud, who's in the rivalry. I think that's a pay-per-view match. I think it's their version of War Games and Hell in a Cell put together. So put that on pay-per-view. And obviously the obvious choice is Grand Slam, but with Grand Slam, I'd put that right in between All Out and what's it called? In this case, Blood and Guts. You put it right in between. You put it in August. That way, on a Dynamite, on TBS, you let fans know, like, hey, look at this arena. It's packed. It's buzzing. We put on a great show on Dynamite. This is what we can do on national TV. Now imagine what we will do for our September pay-per-view, All Out, which is, and at least in my opinion, this is what I consider the biggest stage possible for AEW. All Out is their WrestleMania, even though they're not going to market it as that, because obviously that's something that TNA did in the past and they fell for the trap of marketing Bound for Glory as that, and it's never really worked out. So they're just quietly slipping it under the rug that they don't really have a major pay-per-view, like a major stage. But in my opinion, it's All Out. And then finally, to end it all, going into the fall season, you keep Full Gear in November. It's basically their version of Backlash without the name. So I keep that right there. I think it's a pretty good fit. So just to recap, January, New Year's Smash. March, Revolution. May, Double or Nothing. July, we got Blood and Guts. August, we keep Grand Slam as a special 2-3 hour Dynamite on TBS, just to let the fans and the mainstream fans, the casual fans, that hey, this is what AEW can bring to the table in terms of bringing in fans. We keep in September we got All Out, which is, in my opinion, again, just my opinion, their WrestleMania, their major pay-per-view. And in November we keep Full Gear. And I think Tony Khan and AEW should really look into just keeping it at 6 pay-per-views for the foreseeable future, if they decide to increase in that case, because like I said, it spells a lot more for guys like MJF and Britt Baker and Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin and so many of their homegrown stars that they're already building up so well on TV, to put them in main events of pay-per-view events, because that simply means dollar signs for the casual wrestling fan. Also, the IWC fan, they get the fact that they've been a part of a main event on a pay-per-view. That's also a bragging right. So, just in my opinion, I think that's a step forward that the AEW needs to do, along with the streaming service, just to keep that growth going and really fully establish themselves as a number 2 in the wrestling industry and as a full-on alternative to WWE. But again, that's just my opinion. And if you have a different one, you have a different set of pay-per-views you want to bring up, a different way you got to set up the calendar for AEW, go ahead and leave it in the thoughts. Leave your thoughts and comments on the comment prediction below. Yeah, I don't know what came out there, but you get me. You get me. I've been Alexis Carrillo. This has been Wrestling Talk, and I'll see you next time.